into fitness, nutrition, and taking care of yourself, then you might just love today's episode because I was fortunate enough to have a recent chat with Veronika Larisova, nutritionist, exercise physiologist, ultramarathon runner, host of the Chief Life podcast, and co-founder of Chief Nutrition. Most well known for their meat and collagen-based snacks and for creating some of the cleanest products on the planet. Veronika is so passionate about the science behind health and wellness and delivers some incredibly interesting views on nutrition. I took a lot away from this episode, but it's also good to note that this is one particular viewpoint that clearly works so well for Veronika because she's absolutely glowing. But it's always important to do your own research and trial and error when it comes to your diet. Thanks for tuning in today to the Can I Get a Refill podcast. I'm your host, Steph Bruno-Newton. Be sure to jump on my website, www.canigetarefillpodcast.com.au, linked in the show notes, to download your free 33-page ebook on 7 steps to protect your energy and fill up your cup. You cannot pour from an empty cup, so I've designed a guide to help you take care of yourself in order to up-level your life. Download it today and make yourself a priority in 2026. Okay, let's jump in. Hello, my cup fillers, and welcome back to the Can I Get a Refill podcast. As just promised, we're joined by a very special guest today. We're talking nutrition, healthy snacks, and the dangers of B6 toxicity with Veronika Larisova. Veronika, thanks so much for being on the podcast.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
I'm excited too. And I was just saying to you off air, for everyone, you're the co-owner of Chief Nutrition, and I just bought the sample box, which I've just linked it in my stories. I'll do it again when this goes live. I highly recommend everyone to get that to determine what flavor they like. And you had said to me that you like the beef bars. And I was like, oh, I'm a sweet girl. I'm a dessert girl. You are spot on. Those beef bars are fantastic.
Thank you.
I'm really amazed that the texture of them, the flavor. But what I love is that it is so high. I've always been a gym girl. I need to eat very regularly or I get really lightheaded. And I always want high protein snacks because I do more of a high protein diet. And they're all sweet. And sometimes you feel like something savory. And when you and I spoke the other week, you were saying you can't take a boiled egg in your purse, right? Which is why you came up with it. So it's just a brilliant on-the-go snack and the ingredients are fantastic. But
that's literally why the business started, because we wanted to have savory snack that doesn't go off and it's full of protein. Because most savory snacks are high carb, like, chips and things like that.
They are.
So yeah,
and like you said,
to have a meat in a bar that I can take with me on a hike or trail run or in a jungle. You can't take steak with you because it's gonna go off. And if you take biltong, which I love, that kind of its pieces, so it fell apart in my bag a few times. So the bar, having like a bar when you're in a jungle and you have that beef, it's the best.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, listen, you have such an interesting life, nutritionist, exercise physiologist, ultra runner, and co-founder of Chief Nutrition. So just start by telling us a little bit about yourself and what got you into nutrition and fitness.
Well, I grew up in nutrition and fitness. My dad used to own a gym. He was an athlete. And we grew up eating really healthily. I grew up in communism. We didn't have any ultra-processed foods or, much packaged foods. Everything was made from the scratch. So all these things, they're like fashionable now, such as kefir, kombucha, sauerkraut. My parents used to make it at home from scratch, bone broth as well. And that's all we ate. We used to eat meat for breakfast. That was completely normal in Eastern Europe, have some meat and eggs from the night before. The diet was very heavily meat-based, lots of fermented foods, lots of chicken soup, bone broth. My parents taught me about nutrition. We always spoke about why do we eat this, why is it healthy, why is it not. I grew up training, being around, I used to go with my dad to gym when I was 2 years old. So to me, being at the gym, it's normal. It's not like it's something I have to force myself to do. It's second nature. So I think that's why I gravitated to studying sport and exercise science. I became personal trainer, then exercise physiologist via studying sport and exercise science. Then I actually went back to uni to study nutrition when we started Chief, because I felt like now we have nutrition business. Someone needs to learn more about nutrition.
Good on you for taking that on yourself. And how great to grow up around such, healthy eating and healthy exercise. And all of that is definitely learned through childhood. So it's really important that we're passing healthy ideals down to our children.
100%.
But you're right. It was these sort of ancient things that families were doing for years are now very trendy and very expensive things.
Yes, I still make them all by myself.
Yeah.
You know, if you buy a jar of sauerkraut, it's like $15.
It's so expensive.
I make like 6 or 7 of those jars for like under $10 from organic cabbage, everything organic.
Yeah, you just got to put that little bit of effort into learning how to do things. And then once you got the knack of it, you can
but
do
those
it
things
yourself.
are really simple. Sauerkraut and bone broth are like the easiest thing to make.
I just had bone broth before we started, actually. I have a bit of tummy issues today. I feel a little bit bloated, and bone broth with lemon juice in it just feels so nourishing. I love it so much. So you must have really good gut health, do you?
I do.
You do? Yeah, good for you. I've always struggled with gut health. I hate that about myself.
I think it's the problem of this whole society because even when you eat healthily, you think you eat healthily, often it's not healthy. Like lots of
Well, it's what's right for you too. It can be different for different people. Like I can't eat apples. They make me bloat. Yeah.
that is true, but also you have to think that most foods now are like the plant-based foods are full of glyphosate.
Yes.
So unless you eat everything organic or unless every snack you eat is made from organic plants, it's full of glyphosate and that's neurotoxic and irritant to your gut. A lot of foods have additives. Or even like my friends, we go and eat in a restaurant and they think they're having a steak and it's healthy. But the steak is not organic, is grain-fed and is made in seed oil. And then they have side of a salad that's full of dressing that's made with chemicals and sugar. So it looks healthy, but it's actually is not that healthy if you have it all the time.
Yes, 100%. You know what? I might jump ahead and go to one of the questions I've got further in the chat because it's sort of related. And this is really what I said to you I love so much about. I've had a few biohacking guests on recently, and I've really been on a journey to, like, I always thought I ate healthy, but I'm looking at what I ate and what was hidden in them. Even down to like a tin of tuna, I'm making sure I'm getting ones that don't have, you know, the bad oils in them. So yeah, can you tell us what we should be looking for on nutritional panels on the back of packaging, and especially when they're labeled as so-called healthy snacks?
Okay, well, the whatever it's on the front of the packaging, that's advertising. That's a real estate and advertising, and don't actually worry about it. Become a pack flipper, flip the pack around and have a look at the ingredients. So what you have a look at first is the ingredients list. The item that is listed first, it's what the product is mainly made from. And the one that is listed last, it's the one that's least represented. So if the first ingredient is sugar and the last is nuts, the product is mainly made from sugar with a minimal amount of nuts. Yes, so it goes in like in order. And then after you check that, you also have to look at it, what are the actual ingredients? And the things I would look for would be thickeners, emulsifiers, artificial sweeteners, artificial flavoring, sugar alcohols as well, maltodextrin, because all those change your gut microbiome and potentially damage your gut lining if you eat them all the time. Whatever you do once in a blue moon, it's not really going to make a big difference. It just really matters what you do and eat most of the time on a daily basis.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what I noticed. First of all, I've really become a package reader. I mean, I grew up in the 90s where people were just talking about fat. And I remember seeing on lolly packaging, fat-free.
Like, I know,
yeah, because it's all sugar.
No shit,
and like,
because it's all sugar.
And I realize now how this is my personal opinion, not a medical professional, but how damaging sugar is. And I really went away. I mainly cook with maple syrup would be like my only sweetener.
Excess sugar is very damaging to your tissues. It even causes aging because it damages the collagen fibers in your skin. The glucose molecules compete for a receptor with vitamin C molecules. So people that have always high sugar diet, they never get enough vitamin C, even if they do take vitamin C. And then that causes premature aging, impaired immune system, like a lot of the things that you need vitamin C for. I could like go on a big rant, like also, of course, sugar increases insulin, so if you always eat high sugar foods and you constantly keep releasing insulin, you'll get in the end insulin resistance and diabetes. It's also very difficult to burn fat when you always have high insulin. There's just so many things about sugar. We could do like a whole podcast on sugar.
Sugar, Veronica, like you look at the packaged food now, whereas in the 90s, similar food like McDonald's had very few ingredients, and now it's full of so many ingredients for the same food because people are like, well, I used to eat that when I was young and I was fine. but they've changed the ingredients of so many things to make them last longer and to make them cheaper.
100%.
And
Yes.
it's dangerous. We've become these consumers that if we're not really reading into it, you don't know what you're putting in your body. And a lot of it is just not food.
No, it's not food, and because it's not food, our body doesn't recognize it as food, and then it's toxic to your body. And we are already surrounded with so many toxins we can't avoid, like polluted air, we wear clothes that have toxins in them, stress, EMFs, all that. And then if you add the food to it, the liver hasn't been genetically accustomed to clear out all these toxins. Nowadays, we're surrounded with more toxins than any other time in the history of humankind. And it doesn't matter how many liver cleanses you do, the liver has got only certain capacity to detox. And so the main goal for your overall health should be reducing the toxic load on your liver, not influxing your body with toxins and then trying to take liver tonic. Like, that doesn't work like that.
Absolutely. And this is not about the aesthetic, and this isn't about putting pressure on people to, be perfect and spend more and buy organic. It's about, you have to take care of your body or you'll have nothing. And whenever you're really sick, you realize nothing else matters. Social media doesn't matter. Money doesn't matter. Your health is everything. And, for longevity, but also living a good life where you feel great and have energy, you have to be looking at what you're putting in your body. And that's something that I've really been on a journey with in the last 12
months. And more so now, I always hear from my clients and friends, why are you so obsessed? Like, our parents didn't do this. Why do we have to do it now? Yes, but our parents weren't surrounded with so much crap everywhere. As I said, air, water, food, everything.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's so true. So it's very important to have podcasts like yours and, talk about this, because people might not know. And a lot of things when we're making poor choices usually comes down to lack of education over laziness. So it's good to have these conversations for sure. Can you talk us through the importance of protein and collagen in our diets, and who does it benefit most?
Okay, so protein as such, it's pretty much a building block for everything. Your muscles, organs, even your hormones, your immune cells, your skin. So we need protein. We need it for growth, recovery as well, regeneration. So very, very important. Protein and fats are essential macronutrients. You really need them. You can live without carbohydrates. You can't live without protein and fats. You will
know that.
Yeah, you don't you can actually survive without carbohydrates. They're not essential, because the body will create them from the protein if it needs it via gluconeogenesis.
What sort of carbohydrates do you incorporate in your diet?
Sometimes no carbohydrates, because I drift in and out of carnivore diet, and most of the time my carbohydrates would be fermented foods like sauerkraut. I like pumpkin, avocado, berries.
Okay, so you're still having carbohydrates, so you still got that roughage for your gut.
Yeah,
it's not like it's just pure meat. You're still.
But sometimes I don't. Sometimes I have a month when I only eat meat and eggs.
And it doesn't affect your gut health?
No, it actually, you can have a look on the Chi website. I did an experiment when I went on full a strict carnivore diet and only had meat, eggs, and bone broth for 5 weeks, and did DEXA scan, blood tests, and gut tests before and after. Did a full gut microbiome mapping, and my gut has actually improved after the carnivore diet, because when you go on a carnivore diet, you remove all the irritants from the plant. So it can be glyphosate and heavy metals, but then also the lectins, phytates, oxalates, all the things that can be irritating your gut and causing a damage in your gut lining. So when you go on a pure carnivore diet, you don't have any of these irritants and you give the gut time to heal. I'm not saying that you should be on a carnivore diet for the rest of your life. There are benefits of having fiber and other foods, but it is good when your gut is not well to do a short stint of a carnivore diet. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, sorry, I interrupted you. Go back to benefits of protein and collagen.
Benefits of protein, yeah. So protein, very important. You really need it. Our body can assimilate protein within, but there are 9 essential amino acids that we need to get from our diet. And red meat or meat in general is the best source of all these essential amino acids. If you eat animal protein, you don't have to worry about it. And unless you are injured or elderly or you have any digestive issues and stuff and you do eat animal protein, you don't even need to worry about supplementing on the top of it. So protein, extremely important. Collagen protein, as you asked, it's a type of protein. It's not a complete protein, but it misses some of the amino acids. It misses tryptophan, and it's low in amino acid leucine, which is amino acid that's the most important for muscle protein synthesis or muscle building. However, the collagen is high in different amino acids, and those are important for your skin, gut lining, bones, ligaments and tendons, all the connective tissues. So in a nutshell, collagen is the main structural protein in our connective tissues. And as we age, and that starts from the age of about 20 plus minus, you produce about 1 to 2% less collagen every year. And then from the age of 40 plus minus, you utilize more collagen. So you're making less, you utilize more. And that's why after 40, you start having more wrinkles because you lose collagen in your skin. You have more aches and pains because you lose collagen in your joints. You might start having some bone issues.
The joys.
Gut lining,
the joys
whatever.
of getting older.
So a lot of research shows that you can actually build up the collagen in your tissues by supplementing with collagen. Of course, you also have to address the other variables in your lifestyle, because if you smoke a lot, drink a lot of alcohol, eat a lot of sugar, have a lot of UV radiation, and stress a lot, that all further damages the collagen in your body even more. So if you have healthy lifestyle, you can take collagen supplement and build up the collagen in your body. And there's a lot of research that shows improvements in your skin. I myself reversed osteopenia just with collagen supplementation. So I had brittle bones. Now I don't anymore. And that happened in my 40s. You can reduce the appearance of cellulite with collagen supplementation. There's a lot of research in sport and exercise science on healing your tendons and ligaments and making them stronger. But for that, you need to take the collagen 30 to 60 minutes before training. Otherwise, it doesn't really work specifically for the joints, ligaments, and tendons. So there is a lot of research on collagen. And sure, you could cover collagen in your diet, what we used to do in Eastern Europe. And I'm pretty sure back in the day when we lived in caves, everyone was doing it because people used to eat animal skins, animal cartilages. They used to drink bone broth. And that's how you get collagen from your diet. However, who does eat those things these days? No one,
it's right? A bit different in the modern
world.
Also,
let's say when you drink bone broth, that's partially hydrolyzed collagen. When you take a collagen powder, that's fully hydrolyzed collagen, so the absorption rate is better. So it works a little bit better.
You do know your stuff. Wow. Did you say there's tryptophan in collagen?
The tryptophan is missing and leucine is low.
Got you. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's why people say, oh, it's not a complete protein, you shouldn't be taking it. No. If you are eating animal protein or even plant protein and you make sure you cover your complete amino acids, then you take the collagen on the top of it for the other benefits.
Yeah, it's massive benefits, and for all different age groups, isn't it? Like elderly people, but then like 20-year-olds who work out a lot. It's just 100%. Endless.
Also, I have to point out in the protein intake in general, I love the new American guidelines, by the way.
Yes.
And I've been saying this to people, 0.8 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight per day. That's just to survive. But if you are exposed to stress, if you exercise, if you're active, you need more. So the 1.6, what has been recommended, 1.6 to 2.2 grams has been recommended for ages in all the scientific journals for active individuals and for athletes. And now they're also saying that if you're injured or if you're elderly or you're recovering from illness, you need up to 3 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight per day. And that is also recommended to people that are Ozempic and Manjaro and all the GLPs, because you need extra protein when you're on those medications.
Imagine. Wow.
To prevent muscle wastage.
Yeah, that's interesting. The new food pyramid. It's very different to what we grew up with the
It's
very
so
carb
good. And that's
heavy.
what we've been saying this to people at Chief for 10 years. Eat meat. Meat is healthy, but there was like this whole propaganda about meat being unhealthy. I'm like eating 11 servings of grains, which was in the original pyramid and which is still recommended in Australia. It's absolutely ludicrous. And that's how you accumulate all the glyphosate in your body from all the grains. Yeah, it's just, I love the new pyramid because their main tagline is eat real food. And that's what we've been
Yes.
saying to people, eat real food and you'll be fine.
Yes, absolutely. Well, while we're on the topic, I'll jump ahead to one of the questions I had because I see on your content that you're very pro meat. So red meat did seem to be labeled as bad for a while, but it seems to be making a bit of a comeback, particularly organic grass-fed, which is what I like to eat. So what's your take on red meat?
I think actually in this day and age, red meat is the healthiest and safest food to eat. Because if the meat is organic, grass-fed, grass-finished, and regeneratively farmed, it doesn't contain any glyphosate, doesn't contain any heavy metals. And we know that because we get our products and especially the collagen and whey protein tested for glyphosate and heavy metals, and there is none. So it's very safe, it's very high in nutrients, and the nutrients are very highly bioavailable. So for example, if you take a ferrogut iron supplement, the absorption rate is about 5% or less. If you take beef liver capsule or eat beef liver, the absorption rate is at least 35%. So the nutrients, the red meat and organ meats are so highly nutritious and the nutrients are so highly bioavailable that you don't need to eat that much of it to get all the nutrients or almost all the nutrients you need without the added irritants and toxins that you get from non-organic vegetables. And even from organic vegetables, they still can have oxalates, phytates, lectins, depending on what vegetable or legume you're talking about. So I think maybe not 50 years ago, but in this day and age, meat is the best. Because also on the topic of the vegetables these days have about 50% less of vitamins and minerals than comparing to what they had 50 years ago.
Is it because the soil's overfarmed?
Soil depletion, but also the transportation and the storage that further depletes the nutrients. So there are a few different variables. So you're not getting as much from fruits and veg as your MyFitnessPal tells you. It's not updated, it's not, and you really don't know. So meat is very highly nutritious, doesn't contain any irritants. It's healthy for you. Body loves it because that's in our genes. We are meant to eat real food and our body recognizes the nutrition from real food as the nutrition it needs. And also, you're not gonna get vitamin and mineral toxicity from eating too much meat, while you can get that from eating or consuming too many synthetically derived supplements.
That's so interesting. Can I ask, what if someone didn't eat organic grass-fed meat? What are the negative effects? Is it like inflammation? What else would happen if they're not having organic grass-fed?
Look, I think it's still better to eat non-organic meat than not eating meat. But if the meat is not organic, it can have some glyphosate, although the cows can detoxify from the glyphosate to an extent, but it can still have glyphosate from the grains they eat or from the grass they eat if it's sprayed with glyphosate, which happens in non-organic cattle. And also the meat is going to have different composition because if the animal eats grains, the grains are high in omega-6 fatty acids, so the animal is going to have less omega-3 and more omega-6, and it also can have all the toxins accumulated in the fatty tissues. And then the grain-fed animals have more fat. So if they have any toxins, they're more toxins because they're stuck in the fat.
Wow, you really do know your stuff, which is great. Now, we touched on your products. What are the healthiest snacks we can keep in our bag when we're on the go, just in general? So for you, you're always exercising, you're out doing these marathons, but for just like really busy mums on the go who want to throw something in their bag, what can we keep in our bag when we're on the go?
Well, my favorite snack on the go has always been biltong. And I just like plain biltong, just meat and salt. It doesn't have any additives, doesn't have any sugar. It's high in protein. It's really filling. It's easy. If you snack on biltong, it's easy to hit your protein target and don't get any sugar cravings, because as more sugar you eat, as more craving you have. If you don't eat any sugar, you don't get any sugar cravings. So even if you, let's say, eat jerky and it's marinated in sugary marinade, you think you're eating meat, but you're still having the sugar with it, and that will give you cravings.
Oh, that is so spot on, because when I ate the beef ones in the package I bought from your company, I was full. I wasn't looking for anything else to snack on. And I always say I just want something like savory and that. But like if I get bars or nuts, it's not doing it for me. You used to get like trail mix. I'm like, just doesn't feel like I'm satiated. It's not food. But that really does work. Yeah.
Meat is very highly satiating. It's like it keeps you full for longer, keeps your blood sugar level stable. So when your blood sugar levels start fluctuating, that's when you start getting the cravings.
I love that, because one of my greatest fears is being out and being hungry and not having food on me. I'm very angry and very irritable. Can you please talk us through what B6 toxicity is and what we should be looking out for? Because I'm hearing a little bit of it lately, and I've taken supplements, so I just want to make sure that.
Okay, so B6 a little mini lecture. So B6 toxicity is from having too much B6, and it's from synthetic supplements, not from real food. You would have to eat like 12 kilos of beef to get any negative effects from B6, and I don't even think it would be possible anyway. So it's usually from supplements, and the upper limit in Australia, it's 50 milligrams per day. In America, it's 100 milligrams. But for example, in Europe, it's only 12 milligrams because they worry about the toxicity and the nerve damage. So the recommended daily intake is 1.3 milligrams, and you can cover that from having 4 liver capsules. If you don't like eating, because you get B6 from beef, organ meats, chicken, and fatty fish. And if you're a vegan or if you don't like eating any of those, you can just get 4 liver capsules, which is like freeze-dried liver desiccated, and that covers your B6 intake for the day. Those supplements have a lot of B6 in them, and it's very easy to build up a toxicity because those supplements are not recognized in the body as a real food, because they're not. They build up. It's really easy to overdose, and then you develop nerve symptoms. So the symptoms to look for is like tingling, numbness, or even like a loss of balance and like any neural symptoms, because a B6 toxicity can actually cause nerve damage, which is why the upper limit in Europe is so low comparing to America, because they're worried about the nerve damage from the B6 toxicity. So you actually don't need to take any vitamin or supplement to get enough B6 in your day, because we need so little that you literally just have a piece of meat and you're done.
Because, I have heard some things recently of some certain supplements recalled because they might have too much B6 in them. So I guess the TGA is cracking down on that. Does someone have to get a blood test to see like how much they have in their body before they take anything?
You should never take any vitamins and minerals unless you are lacking in them. Because let's say if you are not lacking in vitamin C and you take extra vitamin C, you just pee it out. It goes out in your urine. But if you're not lacking in B6 and you take it, it accumulates in your tissues, become toxic. Same with iron, same with zinc. So you don't have to necessarily get tested, but for example, if you are vegan, you know that you're not getting enough zinc, you're not getting enough iron, so you supplement then. And if you start having any symptoms that are unpleasant and you're worried, then you can get tested. Right. If you are eating diet that's balanced and you eat red meat, you eat fatty fish, there is no reason to have vitamin deficiencies unless there's something wrong in your gut and you're not absorbing and assimilating the nutrients. But you'll feel it. Like you have some symptoms. You'd feel either tired or have poor immune system and be always sick. Like there'll be something wrong with you. If you have severe deficiency in any vitamin or mineral, you will feel it.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just going to say the gut health, that I had gut health issues years ago and I just could not. And I had like a lot of meat and and I just was not absorbing iron at all. And I
Yeah.
had to take the liquid iron supplements with lemon juice to absorb it with vitamin C. But I was even getting the infusions. Like my body just really struggled to absorb the
Yeah, but
iron.
it's really interesting. We've had a recently customer she's in her 40s, she's marathon runner, very successful marathon runner, and she had severe iron deficiency, which is normal at her age considering she runs marathons. And supplementation didn't work. She was doing the infusions, that didn't work, and then she started taking our liver capsules, and she's fine. Because the liver capsules absorb in the body better and the body accepts it better because it's a real food.
Well, I'm going to have to add them to my cart next time. No, truly, I've always had trouble absorbing iron. It's just been
try it. It's worth trying. Look, I'm not saying it's going to work for everyone. Nothing works for everyone, and I'm not a doctor. But it's always worth trying for a month to see how you feel and then get retested. That's what I was trying to say. If you have any deficiencies or symptoms or you're unwell, that's when you should get tested. And then if you are deficient in something, then your doctor will tell you take this supplement or that supplement. I think the problem is that people self-prescribe, self-medicate without any testing, just taking everything because it's good. Like, oh, this vitamin is going to give me more energy, so I'll take it. But no, honey.
We fall victims to marketing too. Like it's good marketing. And then you're like, oh, that looks good. That looks good. And you're sitting, on the couch late at night scrolling and everything looks appealing that you think, well, I want to feel better. I want to have more energy. But yeah, it's true. Yeah. Well, funnily enough, my next question was iron supplements. So a lot of women seem to be low in iron and a lot of the supplements cause constipation. I cannot take the tablet form at all. Yet I was always okay with the liquid ones. They never caused that for me. But my next question was, what would you recommend as an alternative? So you're saying the beef liver capsules.
Beef liver or just eating organ meats, liver, red meat, any red meat, fatty fish, organ meats are high in iron. Pretty much any animal protein is high in iron. If you don't like eating it, and just take the liver capsules. It's easy. Just make sure the organic liver capsules. Absorbs much better, 30% absorption rate at least, in comparison to less than 5 from Ferrogard.
Now, would you still have to eat the organs with a vitamin C thing for absorption? So like with capsicum or something, or
it would be helpful to have some extra vitamin C. Yeah, it helps. It helps to increase the absorption. So you don't have to take vitamin C, but have some foods like even a lemon or something.
Yeah. Yeah, I really love organ meat. My husband's Aussie and he's like, oh, I could eat it if I want. I like drool smelling it. Like I love it so much. And I had a Jewish friend who used to get me like the liver pate from the delis, but my dad's Sicilian and he cooks it for me when I come over. I cook it too, but when my dad makes it, it's so much better, like cooked in wine and with shallots and onion and garlic. I love it. It's so tasty. And I have an 18-month-old son who eats it. He loves it. My son eats everything. Like he says,
love it.
No,
I used to cook it all the time. Love it.
See, I think it's also with the different cultures. Like I always grew up with different sort of foods that my dad was cooking. So I remember being 6 in Sicily eating snails, and I was like, I just always wanted to try different things, but I just love it. And it's a lot more iron. So after my period, I'm straight to buying liver and then I cook it up.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. I love it so much.
So good.
Can I ask, what nutrition advice do you have for new mums?
I think for new moms, it's really important to cover all the nutrients, eat real food, and focus on nourishment and recovery. Don't stress about losing weight and things like that. Just really nourish your body, especially if you're breastfeeding. So breastfeeding is very metabolically demanding. You burn extra 400 to 700 calories a day for the breast milk production. And then also, to explain it in a very simplified form, breast milk will always have all the vitamins and minerals that need to have. It will always have a perfect composition. But if you don't have the vitamins and minerals in your diet, it's going to get leached out of your body to the breast milk. So let's say if I don't have enough calcium in my diet, the body will leach the calcium from the bones to have it in the breast milk. So if you don't eat properly when you're breastfeeding, your body will be robbed of all the vitamins and minerals from your storage, from your muscles, from your bones, from your skin, and it will just keep leaching just to have the good composition in a breast milk. So the baby
I didn't even know that. I thought that just happened during pregnancy, because I remember one day I hadn't drunk pineapple juice since I was in primary school. And one day when I was pregnant, I walked up to the shops and bought a 2-liter bottle of pineapple juice and just sculled the whole thing. And then when I looked at what was happening with my baby that week, he was developing teeth and nails. And so vitamin C will be needed more. I was like, wow, like the body is so smart that it gave me this physical craving in my taste buds that I needed something. Yeah. But I didn't realize I wasn't able to breastfeed, but that is so fascinating.
You really need to focus. And even if you don't breastfeed, like you're recovering, you need to focus on recovery and nourishment. And yeah, that's the most important. Also, when you have a little baby, you're not sleeping properly. You can get moody and tired. And it's really good to focus on having diet high in protein and fat, so we don't get the sugary, mood swings and cravings and all those things. They come from blood sugar fluctuations. So having diet that's high in fat for your hormones, and high in protein for your satiety and for blood sugar control and for your metabolism. So yeah, it's you need to be more diligent with your diet when you are pregnant and breastfeeding, and even after breastfeeding.
No, that's great advice. It really is that time. I love the word nourishing. It made me feel all like I remember it. Like you really need to nourish your body so much. Yeah. It's so, whether you give birth naturally, C-section, whatever. You've gone through so much, and then add on the sleep deprived. Like you really need to take care of your body so much. Like losing weight is like the last thing that you need to worry about. And funnily enough, though, the more you take care of yourself and eat the right foods, the weight ends up normalizing anyway, doesn't it? Yeah. Great advice. We're to the end already. So I'll ask you, you've really given such great advice, and I'm going to link everything for you in the show notes as well as your podcast. And I urge your listeners, if you want even more education on this topic, to go and have a listen to that. It's fantastic. What's something that you'll be doing in the next week to fill up your cup? I feel like you're going to tell me you're running a marathon or something.
No, actually, so I got really badly injured last year, and I haven't been able to run for 9 months. I only just started running a little bit, and the thing I'm looking forward to the most this week, there is a beach in Sydney, for those who are not in Sydney, called Clovelly, and there's like a signature session that everyone does when you swim across and then you run around back to start, and it's like a lap, but half of the lap is swim and half of the lap is run, and you literally swim in your running shoes. So I'm doing that with my girlfriend every Thursday morning at the moment at sunrise, and that's like just makes me so happy. It gives you so much endorphins. It's like the sunrise and the water and the endorphins from the run. It's just like, it's next level. Like that makes me so happy always. Every week I'm looking forward to it.
So much. That really is a cup filler. Yeah, filling up your cup doesn't necessarily mean relaxing. It can be something high octane, but it just makes you feel really good and really excited. Yeah. I love that so much. I'm from Cronulla. I'm not a huge East fan, mainly because of the parking, but I adore Clovelly. My friend that I was just saying this to buy the pate, he lives in Clovelly, but it's just such a beautiful beach. I used to date someone in that area, and that was the only place I used to swim, and I always found it it's a very mums and bubs beach. It was always pregnant women and babies in that area.
When you come that exam, there's no one. It's only the triathletes that run and swim.
Absolutely. Oh, that sounds so nice. Well, enjoy that. And thank you so much for all the knowledge you've given us today. There was so much to take in. I feel like I needed a pen and paper to take notes. It was fantastic, really valuable. So thank you so much for being here today. It's appreciated. And everybody, please do something in the next week to fill up your cup.